This is a fascinating time to be alive. This is a time when people all over are being called to wake up and pay attention. And there's a wonderful example of that waking up that I will try to elucidate, to make clear and simple in the next few minutes. Now, the majority of people say that, many people say that the world is warming up and we're all going to die in some horrible, horrible catastrophe because people drive SUVs or whatever nonsense. And most of these people went to school. And in school they watched this film by Al Gore about how this is true. And they remember it. And they remember that the North Polar ice cap was melting at an inordinate rate. And in a very short time, all of the big cities on the coast all over the world would be underwater, and tens of millions of people would be homeless. They remember this, the ordinary people. And I'm not talking about you. I assume if you're listening to me, then you're already more open-minded and considering all the possibilities. But the vast majority of people try very hard to use the right politically correct language and to say things right and not be insensitive and hold whatever opinions the media tells them to hold so that they can be good little consumers. Or if you're radical, slaves. And this isn't possible. Here's a place where it gets difficult, because there is no North Polar ice cap. Now, I suppose this could change, but I've looked at globes and maps over more than 100 years, and they don't have a North Polar ice cap. And yet Al Gore, in his film, I just watched a clip, said, here's the North Polar ice cap, here it is melting, we're all going to die. And so these ordinary people, these people who've been comfortably asleep, these people being called to wake up, are faced with these two countered facts. The one, the idea that the North Pole is melting and we're all going to die, and the other, that there is no North Pole. And yet they remember seeing Al Gore say this. So either they have to join the so-called conspiracy of those who say that Al Gore was wrong, because there isn't a North Polar ice cap to melt, or they have to join the conspiracy, so-called, of those who say, well, we experienced the Mandela Effect, because there isn't a North Pole, and yet they remember seeing it. And so there's no longer a comfortable, tenable, holdable middle ground. Either they join this conspiracy saying Al Gore's an idiot, or they join the conspiracy saying the Mandela Effect is real. If they remember this film, they must choose one or the other. They are forced to come out in support of something they have called a conspiracy. And this is a source of cognitive dissonance, a thing that makes them unable to relax and be at ease. They cannot hold a middle position and deny both these things. And this cognitive dissonance causes them to start to ask questions and to look around. And this is how waking up starts. So I don't know if I've made any headway in making this clear. But if you believe Al Gore was right and the North Polar ice cap was going to melt, like I just watched in some clips, then you can't explain how that is, because there is no North Polar ice cap. If you say there is a North Polar ice cap, I remember it, and you look back and see there hasn't been a North Polar ice cap in the lifetime of any of these people, and they say they remember it, then they're Mandela Effectees. Either way, they have to start to pay attention.